Hey, welcome to Hindsight the Podcast. I'm your host, Lee Jones, and I'm thrilled to embark on this journey of exploration with you. We often find ourselves reflecting on the choices we've made and wondering how our lives might have unfolded differently if we had taken a different path. Here's the beauty of hindsight. It gives us a chance to gain wisdom and learn from our past decisions. Look, this podcast is a platform to dig deep into those pivotal moments and uncover the invaluable lessons hidden within. Look, I'm Lee Jones, your host, and I couldn't be more excited to have you on board. So let's dive right in and explore the fascinating realm of decisions on Hindsight the Podcast.
When you look back in hindsight, everything is 20/20. In hindsight, you make mistakes, we're learning from it. In hindsight, shaping yesterday and your tomorrow. In hindsight, it's so much clearer now. This is Hindsight the Podcast, and introducing your host, Lee Jones.
Hey, this is Hindsight the Podcast, and I'm your host, Lee Jones. And today, I want you to get ready to explore the celestial realms of self-discovery and empowerment with my guest today, Dolly Manghat. Aligning the stars of wisdom and insight, Dolly, with over 4 decades of counseling and coaching experience, shines as a guiding light to those seeking health, wealth, and happiness. Renowned for demystifying astrology and holistic sciences, Dolly's insights have earned her recognition as a world-renowned speaker. Her lectures and counseling sessions have touched lives around the globe, offering a perfect blend of science and common sense to help individuals create their own prophecies. Dolly's impact reaches beyond personal interactions. Her book, Looking Beyond, is a guide to unlocking your true potential. Dolly's accolades, including awards like the Mother Teresa Award and the Bharat Ratna Dr. MGR National Award, and you can correct me on on that later, reflect her commitment to making a positive difference. Welcome to Hindsight the Podcast. Dolly, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. So it wouldn't be hindsight if we didn't start a little bit, not necessarily at the true beginning, but a little bit at the beginning. And I just wanted to ask you, what sparked your initial interest in astrology and what motivated you to turn it into a career path?
Well, Lee, my success story has been a faith achieved through sheer willpower and a conscious choice. I was born during a time, that is, I'm 1957 born, and I was born during a time when women had very little gender equality. I was not encouraged to pursue an education for building a career. Instead, it was to attract a good husband, because our part of the world, that is what studies are all about, was conditioned actually to devote an entire life towards husband and family. Now, this made me a people's pleaser and an emotionally insecure person when I was young. And it took me years to channelize this negative energy more positively and constructively. It brought out an immense desire to carve my own identity and create a niche of my own. And imagine, I'd got married at a very young age of 21 to a husband chosen by my parents. So after having done my wifely duties of producing children, I felt like pursuing my education and putting it to good use. Now, cherishing every moment bringing up my 2 lovely daughters, my heart became determined of wanting them to grow up into very strong women with a mind of their own. I desired them to lead the life they wanted on their terms, which I was deprived of, which was only possible if I changed my thought process in regards to myself. Now, somewhere, I also wanted to make a difference in the world around me, that women could be equally productive and constructive. So I aspire to be the change in bringing about an awareness in our generation with regards to the gender bias by practicing what I preached. A little bit about myself, like being from an army background and married to an army man, I could not cultivate long-lasting friends or associates. As we moved from place to place, my association with people from all cultures, they left an impression on my growing mind with a very mixed feelings. Soon I learned to be a self-motivator. The circumstances of every individual differs. They can be good or bad, depending upon your perceptions, which may not be a reality. I was no different. I too had many obstacles to overcome in order to fulfill my life's dreams. It doesn't matter where you were born, your childhood conditioning by parents and teachers can actually shape your thought process to an extent. Eventually, I refused to allow anybody to control my dreams, and their manifestations was my responsibility. Now, life is like a game of cards. You're dealt with a set of cards. How you play with them is your attitude and aptitude. And I realized that we all have two choices in hand, one that you think from your heart and the other that you analyze with your mind. So when you follow your emotions through your mind, you live with fear and only wear masks for you want to project what you are expected to show. But when you live with feelings, you live fearlessly without masks. I always chose to go by my feelings unfiltered by projecting the real me. And of course, I got mixed reactions from people while speaking my truth. At least it felt less stressful, and I didn't feel the need to be aggressive, proving a point. So I learned the difference between emotions and feelings. My emotional quotient actually became stronger by the day. Now, the oldest philosophy has taught us that by connecting with our heart, conquering our mind, we can discover our true journey and develop energies to achieve our desires. The mantra of life is not to let the mind control you. Instead, you should learn to control your mind. Today, I actually feel very happy and satisfied of the choices I made by listening to my heart. Since I was the only child of my parents, my world was surrounded more with nature. I was always fascinated with stars and planets. The two great luminaries, that is the sun and the moon, were like my best friends. Soon I gravitated towards learning the language of the universe. The planets and the stars in the universe, their discipline, gravity, and all about their energies that are all encompassing. This perpetuated me towards learnings of the pseudoscience of astrology. The new paradigm of physics taught me all about the universal intelligence. My trust and faith in the planets helped gain equanimity of mind, which in turn liberated me spiritually. I learned the art of being independent enough to live in codependence. And astrology taught me self-awareness. Recognizing my true potential, strength, and weakness helped me and still helps me to overcome many a hurdles or the curve balls that life throws from time to time. The transiting planets in the sky help me navigate my way, which in turn boosts my confidence to deal with the world and process it organically. Now, Napoleon Hill once remarked, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. The self-belief that I garnered and practiced through the universal intelligence determined the altitude of my success. Always remember, what we see in the mirror of life is as good a reflection of our own actions. So achievement is not about earning material possessions or status, but of feeling good about yourself. So with the equanimity I gained in mind, the graph of my success in the physical world grew. Ideas or studies are never original. With our own unique talent and belief, we give it our experiential twist. So after learning and still learning about the planets and stars, it's when I started teaching and sharing this knowledge with the world that I felt divine blessings and guidance at every step. I never believed in predictions and realized it through my studies that the planets, the heavenly bodies, help you create your own prophecies in life. We carve our own path and can overcome obstacles by rechecking or reviewing our life as the transiting planets nudge our deep psyche with their energies. Initially, it did not matter to me whether people around me believed in me or not, for they could not see the larger picture that I knew I could achieve. And through these planets, I got empowered to create my own legacy. And so can each one of us. So today, I don't have to justify my actions, Lee, for I have walked my talk and made success a choice. Thank you for hearing me out, Lee. So
Oh,
this is how I have grown up, and
wow.
that's what I'm
We're,
empowering the world with.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I s-
Empowering the world with.
a world with the knowledge that I have experienced, gained. So I walked my talk, and there are plenty of my clients around who are also doing the same by understanding themselves through their self awareness, especially through astrology.
Could you share, and thank you for sharing your journey there, but could you share the fundamental principles or the core beliefs that shape your approach to astrology itself?
Okay, we all know that the world is surrounded with a lot of energies, and even our body is made out of water, air, earth, and fire. These energies, when they affect, I mean, the biggest knowledge that we have that how the ocean's tides rise up and down, and our body is made out of more than 70% of water. So the energies that are surrounding in the universe, which are actually emanated by these planets and these stars, they affect our psyche from deep within. That's how we have our mood swings. Sometimes we feel very high, sometimes we feel very low, sometimes we don't understand what the game our mind is playing with us. Should we listen to our heart or should we listen to our mind? So these energies are affecting our attitudes. But how we understand our mind, how we actually start working towards controlling our mind is the key mantra to success in life. So it's very important to understand yourself.
Right.
Planets help you in understanding yourself, the self aware. What are the energies that are more in your body? Is there fire energy more in your body? That means your anger can be destructive. So you need to control that because fire is also needed for construction. So you understand through the planets which are the energies more or less in your body. Balancing those energies out is what helps you overcome your own obstacles in life. Life is never easy. We just need to navigate our way. And we can only navigate it through our attitude, rightly?
Yes. Yes.
So that's where planets come into play, and by understanding ourselves, by understanding the energies within ourselves, which is the energy that is powerful, that we can use. It's like your talents and potentials. Most of us are most unaware of what our true talents and potentials are. So, a little bit of the knowledge through your date of birth, your time of birth, which are the planets that were affecting you, and how do you actually handle those energies that are within you and balance it with the energies outside you. Because whatever is in you is what you are outside.
That makes absolute sense.
So that's how astrology helps us. And that's how it helped me. Initially, when I was married at the age of 21, Lee, just imagine. I mean, I'm a living example and many more. Of course, it's a confidential thing, so I will not be taking names of people. But there are many people who had come to me asking me, but I don't know what to do in life. How do I make myself successful? How can I become independent? Because you'll agree with me that independence and being liberated, doing your own thing is the biggest happiness to a fulfilling life, right?
Yes.
You don't want to sit in judgment to everybody and not dancing on everybody's tunes that, it is something like, I'm expected to do this thing. Is something that I have heard time and time again, and people feeling depressed about it, that I am supposed to behave in such a way. But this is what I feel like doing. It's a difference between I want to do a thing, I feel like doing a thing. I'm supposed to do this way.
You're touching on some you're touching on some some serious topics here because I was just doing a short promo video about removing the mask, right?
Yeah.
And I won't talk about it now, but just knowing that there's so many people in different cultures have different challenges, right? But
Oh, yeah.
being able, having to have to act in a certain way that you believe that culture is expecting you to act, or you are directed to act is draining a lot of times. And
Absolutely.
and being able to be who you are and who you are supposed to be
Right.
is, oh, go ahead.
Who you want to be, not the
Definitely
person
who you want to
you are.
be, supposed to be, all of that. Absolutely.
Exactly. And you know how actually, if you see, it's a global need to carve a niche for yourself, to be known, to be loved, to have balanced relationships. You know, I mean, a simple fundament of life is that if you're not confident within yourself, everything around seems to be crumbling, whether it be relationships, because you're striving so hard to please the other person
Mm.
at the cost of your own feeling. So if people can understand the difference between emotions and feelings,
Let's talk about that. Give us your take on the difference between emotions and feelings.
I would feel that where as an individual, or like say all of us, we have our own quotient of emotions, right?
Yes.
And emotions, when we are talking about emotions, we talk through our mind. Don't we say that I'm an emotional person?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yes.
am very sensitive. I cannot handle this. I can handle this. So we all have a degrees of emotions. But feelings is something which is common to everyone. When you feel something from the heart, that is your truth.
Okay.
And emotions, when you think through your mind, are always, then you start filtering. I should project this to the world. I should not project this to the world. We start correcting ourselves, right and wrong. Will it be accepted? Not be accepted. So what happens is our truth gets dissipated, and we are actually filtering out things, eventually doing things which you are not feeling from the heart, but which will only make us look good. So we are carrying on in life with a lot of burden, with wearing a lot of masks. Something that I have for you may be different than what I have for somebody else.
Right.
So I'm wearing masks
Yeah, that's all the time, right?
all the time. And
And that's
that's why
draining.
when we are alonely in a room,
Yeah.
we actually start thinking, oh, what did I say to that person? Or we laugh it out that, oh, did I make a fool of myself? You got my point?
Yes.
But imagine you walking in life without a mask, just speaking your truth. You don't have to be aggressive. You don't have to feel that whether somebody is going to judge you, because you believe in those feelings of yours.
Mm.
When you speak your truth, and it's an art of speaking the truth, because most of us do not know the difference between the emotions and feelings. So I have just simplified it by saying the moment you start questioning with your mind about your emotions or what you want the other people to think about you, you are filtering. You're filtering the genuineness of yourself, right? Because we want to act the best, but we don't know whether we'll be accepted as the best. Now, take the feelings on the other side. When you speak from your heart, you connect. You connect immediately to your audience. You connect immediately to the person you're talking to, because you're so unfiltered. It's not that you've lost your innocence. It's basically you are connecting from your heart. So your intelligence is also put forth, and an immediate connection is formed. You must have heard, Lee, that a particular person walked into the room, and even if the person was dynamic, very good to look at, and completely in fashion and all, yet there was a kind of a silence in the room, and nobody really got up to speak to the person. Okay.
Okay.
Now, that person has walked into the room with emotions, wearing a mask. He was thinking so he couldn't connect. But now another individual walks into the room. He may not be as good looking, or maybe not, though looks lies in the eyes of the beholder, or maybe just casually dressed, but a warm smile on his face, because he's come with the thought and feelings that I want to connect with the people. And everybody does look up to the other person, the charm, the aura. These are known as auras. You play in life with your emotions, and you allow your mind to control you, your auras get depleted. You be your natural self, you speak your truth, your auras are elated.
Okie dokie. I took it back. My grandma used to say that okie dokie.
Yeah,
That is.
that is it. I mean, you look at the grandmoms.
Uh-huh.
They
Yeah.
have such charming faces in spite of,
Yes.
you know. In fact, it's fun when now people come and tell me, I mean, with my gray hair or with me there, they'll just say, "We love you." Maybe I didn't hear so much of "we love you" in my younger days. But then I was trying to do introspection and see, ki, hey, I'm the same person now. I'm the same person that I was when I was young. But what was different that now people can actually walk up to me and give me a hug. And even, I think, umpteen times they'll say, oh, we love you so much. And I have no qualms saying, I love you too. But at the same time, that time, I was wearing a mask because I wanted to create impressions. I was walking in life emotionally, trying to overcome my insecurities, and like they say, no, showing a brave front, trying to be positive.
Right.
So these are the masks. See, trying to be, showing a brave front, trying to fight it out, being that brave one, saying that, okay, I'm going to work against the gender bias, or I am going to make carve a niche for myself. So when you try to do things, stress comes in. Those are the emotions. But when you're doing things naturally from your heart, like doing things or even picking up a career which is very close to your heart. Now, like I being connected to the planets and the stars, I gravitated towards. And Lee, in my times when I was younger, let's say somewhere around 35, 40, even my own mom had told me, what are you doing with your life? This is the prerogative of men. It was like men talk about planets and stars. They are the one who give predictions. A woman is not supposed to do all that meeting. And I would look at my mom and say, Mom, learning about planets and stars is not a male prerogative. We all can do it. We all are human beings. And I'm coming from a farmer's family. So in our culture back here in Asia, we have these sects. People are farmers, then there are carpenters, then there are Brahmins whose prerogative is solely about knowing about the planets and stars, and they actually put your fate in perspective. Okay, this is your fate because this is how you were born. So it's like predicting a child's future. Whereas life is what you make it, is my firm belief. And I was told in my childhood, now, like, we were fated. You are educated, you're going to get married, you're going to take care of the family, and according to your stars, okay, fine, you'll have a happy life. That's it. And happy life means have your children, take care of them, take care of your husband, do the laundry, do the washing, take care of the house, and let earning, you can leave it on your husband, he'll do it. It's like a predicted fate.
Right.
Whereas you want to carve a niche for yourself, you want to make a difference in the world. See, it's not always about making money, it's not always about the status, it's about how good you feel about yourself. And when I listened to my heart and I did something which is against the norms of my culture, initially there were a lot of brickbats, but did it bother me? It didn't bother me because I was just looking at them and I was laughing that probably one day I'm going to have the last laugh. That faith, that willpower, because I'd controlled my mind and I told
Right.
my mind that I'm not going to get affected by what people say judgment about. And Lee, you must have also experienced this, that throughout the journey of life, we encounter omens in various forms.
Omens, yes.
Omens, there are kind of omens, like opening up to your mind. You can absorb the messages conveyed through these omens and utilize them to your advantage. It could be in the form of somebody just coming and telling you, hey, you can make it.
Absolutely.
Or you get up in the morning and there's a smile on your lips. You just know your day is going to be brilliant.
I tell you what, Dolly, I have a smile on my face right now. It's like I am sitting here in a master class, right? So I'm just engaged. I'm not even engaged. I'm enthralled in your communication. I appreciate the messages that you're putting through because it's eye opening. It's things that I believe should be said. That people should know about because a lot of times you don't even understand it's happening.
Exactly. Because so many times your mind is confused. At times people have come to me say, I feel very depressed, but why do you feel depressed? They have no answer.
Right.
And my one remark of saying, are you walking in life through your heart? But my heart is hurt. Now that's the mind telling you your heart is hurt. So I have to remind them your heart is hurt because you're not listening to your heart, right?
Right.
You're not loving yourself. You're not aware that, we are all useful to this world. After all, we've taken birth for a purpose in life. And that purpose doesn't have to be earth shattering. That purpose can be as small as being yourself. And
Mm.
you'll feel happy. It's all about your attitude. It's all about introspecting from time to time. In fact, it is so funny, Lee, that
Hmm.
I was very busy with my today's schedule, and it was a happy day for me because I was doing various things, and everything, all the creativity of my daughter's house was coming and bubbling through my heart. That I thought today was 17th and tomorrow is 18th. Okay. But I always know that I'll have some omens striking and telling me that, oh boy, and today it's 8 p.m. in India now. All right.
Okay.
And suddenly in the afternoon, I'm talking. I said, I need to know. I'm very happy today. So, which is the planet that is actually working on me? And it struck me immediately, and my counterpart gives me a call to say, ma'am, today at 8 p.m, please don't forget. Immediately so these were like omens. I thought about the planet, and then I get a call, Amod just telling me, he says, ma'am, I say, but today is 17, don't we have this tomorrow? He says, no ma'am, it's today.
Well, thank him for me.
No, absolutely. No, Lee, these are, I take it as miracles. The planets have
Uh-huh.
never let me down because
Oh.
of that faith in my own self. And I'm very meticulous and particular about whatever I do, I have to be the best. It's, I'm just following their advice.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just doing my bit, but I only do what my heart feels happy about. And I'm so happy to connect with you, Lee. So
Oh,
happy.
I'm so happy that we have connected. I tell you, you got me in a trance. But so look, hey, you're happy. You wrote a book,
Yeah.
Looking Beyond.
Yeah.
How does it help individuals understand their potential better? What was the purpose of the book?
See, I was basically addressing the CEOs of the company in the corporate world,
Okay.
and and I was actually giving a workshop and advice to those people who had reached the helm of their affairs. And there was insecurity and fearfulness in spite of reaching the highest of the positions. Ki once we retire, what next? Okay. I mean, can you imagine? It is like uneasy lies the head that wears the crown.
Mm-hmm.
Now, basically, I wrote that book that there is something looking beyond to what you're already doing also. You need to understand. And then I spoke about that the simple blend of self-awareness through astrology with plain common sense helps you take charge of your own fate and shape your destiny. Because
Okay.
wisdom doesn't lie in that how you've dealt your life the whole. Wise people actually navigate their way without believing in luck. So basically, for them, it was that is the end of their career. And now beyond that, they won't be doing anything. Maybe next year they'll be retiring. How are they going to handle it? And in spite of having tons and tons of investments done to their advantage, yet they were lost, not because that they will become poor, but how are they going to be spending their lives? Because throughout their life, they've been wearing masks, Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Mask of a manager to from an assistant manager to a director to a CEO, however far. So the only thing that time, they were wearing mask after mask after mask to keep going better and better, earning more and more. And somewhere in the bargain, they actually lost what they truly felt from the heart of what would make them happy. So they lost out on relationships, they lost out on and you earn everything, and some of them, or I would say most of them, lose out on the health because they had to earn the wealth, and by the time they had the wealth, they didn't have the health to enjoy the wealth.
Wow.
It's like you and me are talking now, Lee Jones. I hope I took your name correctly, right?
Yes, you
Yeah.
did. Thank you.
So basically, Lee, it is something like you and me are, why we are enjoying our tete, or I would say why we are enjoying our experience, because there is no ulterior motive. It's the thing we are passionate about.
Right.
I mean, I've been hearing your podcasts, and I was very happy hearing them. I said, you are making a difference in the world.
Thank you. Thank you.
Money is importantly, but not more important than what you enjoy doing.
And that's a great segue.
Yeah.
So now we want to talk about your coaching a little bit. How did
Yeah.
you start the journey? So we got some background on you and astrology, but how did you start your journey in coaching and consulting, leading you to guide people towards? And you just spoke about how we miss it a lot of times, but guide people towards health, wealth, and happiness.
Because these three were missing probably in my life when I was a child. I was only told that, okay, you have to do the education to get a husband and then to produce your children and take care of them. So when I had my daughters, I wanted them, like I just told you
Mm-hmm.
a little while ago, that I wanted them to be very strong. I wanted them to have their own minds. I wanted them to choose their own careers rather than me telling them that they have to be a doctor or an engineer or whatever. I just wanted them to be. See, whenever things are missing in your life, you want to compensate somewhere for them. So either you become bitter, or you find an option for yourself and follow that. For me, I always felt that life was never easy for anybody. We all had our own share of problems, right?
Right.
Now, I cannot tell you, Lee, that this is your perception. It is actually not true. Perceptions may not be a reality. But once your self awareness comes in that this is what you want, like right after my marriage or bringing up my children, I realized that my greatest need in life is to make money so that I could send my children abroad for further education. I was very open about my realities. But now the question came, since I got married so early, that what am I going to do? Which is the subject I can take to further my education or further. And I realized that psychology attracted me because I wanted to understand people's minds. I did my course in psychology. Then I started delving into the archives because planets and stars were my friends with whom I spoke to. I believed in all our Vedic, we have a Vedic culture and we have a Vedic astrology. If you're a little aware of it, Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And Eastern is very different from the Western. Now, Vedic astrology is centuries old, but it only talks about the initial 7 planets that affect our personality. Because those days you could only see those 7 planets till Saturn. That is the sun, the moon, they are luminaries. Then we come to the Mercury, we come to Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. These were the only planets that were visible to the sky. And our ancestors or people from centuries understood that whenever they were in a particular position, our attitude changed. We either felt low, and even with the moon phases, people are not aware that with the phases of the moon, our moods also escalate and dip. I was observing myself because I was the only child, and I realized that at particular phases of the moon and at particular phases of the planets, I was at my best. So, you understand, Lee? First, I actually used to write in my diary, what is my need? My need was to be loved, definitely. My need was money, definitely. Money and honey always go together.
Money and honey.
And I realized, observing the world around, and we in the army, from my father's background, or even my own getting married into the army, we led a very disciplined life, and the pay scales in those days was not much. So wealth was important to make my children independent if that was the kind of education I envisaged. So initially in life, it wasn't like, okay, my goal in life was to change the world. No, my goal in life was to do the best for my daughters, because I did not want them to lead the life the way I was led, that I was told when to get married, what to study, and what is my future. These were the things I was against. So initially, my goal was to change myself. I wanted to be the change. I wanted to, practice what I later preached out of experience. So success, I made it a choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like to lead a mediocre life. That vision, if you can't visualize, you can never manifest. People
Right.
says, no, I'm all the day I'm positive. I try to be positive. Mecca, why do you try to be positive? Why can't you just feel positive? Because you're trying to be positive, you're reminding yourself that you're negative, so you need to be positive. Why don't you change all the equation and feel positive in whatever circumstances you are in? Take a hold of your life and then start writing down. Know what you want, know how you are going to get it, and then understanding why do you want to get it.
Right.
You understood me, Lee?
Yes.
It's so important for every individual to know what do you want in life. Like that time, I wanted the money and the honey. And over a period of time, I realized that if you make your money first, honey automatically follows. But if you
Right.
follow the honey, money also gets eliminated. Now, if I'd followed my husband only and only expected money from him without contributing to the thing, my honey would have also dwindled somewhere, because would have been a normal crib master. There's no money, I need money, I need money. It actually amounts to becoming a beggar, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I had the education, why don't I create my own money? And trust me, Lee, between you and me, the day I made an identity for myself, is my equation with my husband also changed. Now it was the other way around. The honey was following me.
Mm.
It is not that we need to follow each other. That independence, that confidence in each other comes when you are liberated from the so-called transactions. So, relationships also, in my experience, not only with my clients, but including myself, I have seen when you're on an equal keel, there's no gender bias. Everybody is doing their own thing. Like at times, people ask me, "We've never seen any arguments." Or I'm a very keen golfer. My husband is a great golfer. Okay, and I think a common ground is the golf course, right? So wherever
Okay.
we are in the world, golfing is our priority for our family, and we have a great time golfing. And I realized one thing, that the confidence that I built in myself helped me build my relation with my husband, and it became stronger. Same has happened with my other clients also, and even every day when we talk about this matchmaking in astrology, or when we take about it's known as synastry, and basically matchmaking is that, are you like-minded enough to deal with your life? If you're not like-minded, how much ever you may love the person, and if you're not confident of yourself, how much ever you may love the person, somewhere there'll be cracks. And whenever in a relationship, when don't you feel good about yourself, when you don't have confidence in your own self, but we keep blaming the other person that because of him or her, I have lost my confidence. Happiness is a state of mind. Confidence is in your control. And confidence comes when you feel good about yourself and you're liberated enough not to be dependent. So it is like being independent, yet living in codependence.
Right.
Wouldn't you agree with me on this?
Oh, absolutely.
And falling in love, like they say, you can't see in the stars and fall in love. You fall in love,
Yes.
you fall in love. But if you have the confidence in yourself, you will not control the other person, nor allow the other person to control you. Life
Amazing.
is beautiful, Lee. You live only once.
You only live once. Wow. So, you're speaking on some stuff, and I'm gonna get a little more specific.
Yeah.
How do you find the balance between science and common sense in your approach, and why is that important when you're interacting with your clients?
See, understanding how an individual's mind works. See, in medical history, the brain can be defined, mind can never be defined. So it's very important to understand. Now, psychology teaches you how the mind works. See, there is philosophy, there is psychology. These are all sciences which are all mind related, not brain related. Right?
Right.
So, understanding how the mind works, how the evolution of mind has taken place over the generations is very important. And intuitionally, everybody has. Intuition, 100%. If you pay attention to your heart, it is the path to your soul. That is what even our scriptures, I mean, take any, though I'm not I don't follow a particular culture, because I'm a very independent person. And from very beginning, I understood that all the scriptures in the world have been written for a man to understand by some wise people. People, have been wise all through the generations. So they have written their experiences. That's why I said thoughts are never original. You only give it your experiential twist. Like you asked me a question that how did I do it? I would say first it was the need of my own that made me explore what I can do and what I cannot do. And I went by my feelings that if I do things what I would enjoy doing, then I'd be able to balance myself personally as well as professionally. See, you all know your needs. So many people, they come and tell me, I don't want to do a 9 to 5 job. I said, then why don't you plan to start your own thing? And that is where they get stuck.
Right.
Whereas in my case, I knew what I wanted. I only started navigating and understanding that how am I going to achieve what I want? And again, omens, like I'm telling you, omens, some astrologer, I went to an astrologer and I asked that astrologer that what do the stars have in store for me? He just looked at my face, looked at my stars, and he just told me, he says, what are you asking me? You're a person who will be educating the world.
Mm.
And I was like, what? And I was very young. I was not into all this. And I really didn't even know how to go about it. But it did, sow a seed in my mind. I didn't believe his predictions. I never believed in predictions. My advocacy to everyone is don't live predictions, learn to create your own prophecies. Now, he had sown the seed and I created my prophecy. I said, there is something to this science. And I got into the studies part of it. I do not believe that I'm extra gifted. I believe everybody is gifted in their own way. It is only how you connect to your heart and carve your way, you will find your journey of life and your calling. So this was my calling, and since I was gravitated towards the stars, towards the planets, I could never become an astronomer because in our days, girls never became an astronomer. So just talking to them, just conversing with them, basically I was conversing with my own higher intelligence. And if you actually go, when we have time, Lee, I would love to discuss each planet with you. And you will understand that. And if, when you'll actually see it on your own chart, you'll realize this is the person you are. Sometimes there are three kinds of people in the world: people who are leaders and people who are followers. The followers can become leaders. Now, there is third sect, which are neither the leaders, neither the followers. They are the ones who get caught in catch-22 situations because the self-awareness is not there.
Wow.
And I believe leaders should create leaders, not followers, right?
Right. So I'm blown. I tell you what, I'm being educated today.
God bless you. God bless. Lee, I take it as an omen. Since
Yes.
established in your podcast, I take it that you're doing a great service, because people need to know that there's so much of life on this earth. You don't have to exist. You have to live the life.
Right. So here's a fun question.
Yeah.
You're already doing it or you've already done it for your daughters. But if you had an opportunity, and we don't, but if you did, just indulge me. What advice would you give your younger self looking back on your journey of guiding others, including your daughters?
Lee, the truth of the answer is, the path was just made. I just took one step after the other. And if today you ask me, would I like to change anything of my life? Frankly speaking, I would say no, because all my failures also that I've had in life have been stepping stones to success, because I didn't take them as failures. I just took them as an awareness and a mistake that I should not do again.
See, now that's a powerful answer.
I
And that's a real answer. I mean, you said you give the real.
Yeah,
And
that's
yeah.
my truth. Because at the age of 20 to 21, imagine getting
Yeah.
married to a person who's 7 years elder to you, whom you've never seen in your life, never spoken to you in your life, and you see him only on your wedding night.
Wow.
Okay, and then you are saddled with children, and you're a young mom, and you want to do the best for your children, but somewhere deep down your heart keeps prompting you that this is not what you wanted for your life, because by that time we had become emancipated through education, that there's a world beyond this world. But then again, it's a choice. No, do I want to make my life successful? But first I should know what I want. So everything that happened, that's why I speak a lot about omens, that there are people who come, in front of you and they tell you, like, that way I think I wanted to become a very big actress in life, because you would see these movies and you felt that they were the ones who were living life. Least realizing that you can't even reach there because you were not allowed to reach there by your family. And somewhere you love your family also. You don't want to do anything against them. Those are the masks that you keep wearing. But if you're always connected with your heart, Lee, you will see that every part of your life evolves with the growing years. And Jupiter is that planet that every 12 years, your own belief system changes. And Jupiter helps you in that. Now you calculate for yourself also, when you were 12, what are the belief systems you had? Can I ask your age, Lee?
Oh, I'm 53.
Fantastic. So now
I'm trying to remember 12.
it is something like, Lee, give me your date of birth if you don't mind.
May 18.
Whoa, May 18th.
Yes.
Fantastic. You're a cusp between a Taurian and a Gemini. This is superb. Your communication skills, excellent. You have a powerful temper, which if constructed wisely can take you places. And your belief system has changed every 12 years of your life. At the age of 12, then 24, and then 36. And after 36 plus 12 will be what? 48?
48.
48.
Okay.
My maths is a
Uh-huh.
little poor. 48 plus 12?
48 plus. So I got another one coming up in what, 55?
So now
48 plus 12. So
40.
60.
Yeah. So 48 plus 12 will be 60.
Put me on the
So
spot.
the belief system that you had before somewhere around 48, let's say,
Yeah.
your belief system has changed profoundly. I mean, what you thought should be and what you are thinking can be has made you successfully.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I can go with that.
Okay.
Um, I can go with that. Go ahead.
So see, if your belief system is strong,
Mm-hmm.
and when Saturn comes into play, your structure of life becomes strong. Okay, let me make it a little more fun for you.
Uh-oh.
The sun is your ego. Wherever the sun is placed, like you are between Taurus and Gemini, you are a person who has excellent communication skills, and you are also a person who loves to take action. You will not mull over things and leave, and procrastination is not anywhere near you. But when you can get lazy, when the Taurian takes over you, you actually can procrastinate. And you
Yes.
learned your lessons that procrastination is a sin. Whatever I think, I should immediately enact upon it. You learned over the years. Now, when you started acting, your structure became strong, right?
Yes.
So the sun basically always points to your ego. The moon is your internal self. Mercury points to your intelligence and communications. So Mercury is basically your objective, whereas Venus becomes your subjective. That's your feelings.
Okay.
And through your ego, through your internal emotions, through your objective, through your feelings, Mars helps you take action in that direction. Sometimes the actions can go wayward if your belief system is not strong. So Jupiter comes into play every 12 years in an individual's life and tells you, is your belief system that was in the past working for you? If it is not working for you, change that belief system and take actions in that directions. Then your ego will be pacified. The sun that is wanting you to do so many things or wanting you to work in life and come forward in life, it's going to fulfill. So you start creating your own prophecies. And once your belief system is changed, your structure becomes strong. If your belief system, if you keep stuck to your rigid ideas of the past and the beliefs that never work, then your structure of life becomes weaker by the day.
Mm.
I'm just talking about these 7 planets at the moment. When
Totally.
Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto come into play, they talk about generations. They talk about, and in the transits, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, they actually have so much of effect. So that's why they say now the generation has changed. Got my point?
Mm.
And then your belief system changes according to the generation. That is what is known as progressive. If your belief system doesn't change along with the generational changes, I mean, it's common sense. Won't be doomed or we'll be depressed that things are not happening my way.
Yeah.
So you need to
Oh.
enjoy every moment, right? So
Right.
through
Right.
these planetary situations which are there in your birth chart, Lee, you find so much of history about yourself. You find so much of, and you are certainly, you turn over a new leaf and it gives you so much of happiness that this is what you can do.
Whew. I tell you what.
Yeah.
Thank you. You you say great communicator, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't know what to say. Like I'm being blown away by this
God bless.
conversation.
I'm so
Right?
happy. But
No. It's a good thing. You talk about omens, and you talk about making your own, things happen. Right?
yeah.
Not predictions, but your own prophecy. So it's it's pretty it's pretty enlightening. It's a little bit like what I was thinking is I really need to stay in touch with you.
Oh, me
Or I really need to get into some readings, right, to better understand because it's
definitely.
yeah,
Anytime. You're most welcome because I know you are the future because you're younger than me. And it's important for everybody to understand whatever little difference we can make in this world, let's make it.
absolutely,
Let's make it.
absolutely. So all right, so in we're getting ready to wrap this up.
Okay.
But is there a particular aspect or subject you like to talk about that hasn't been brought up? And I say our conversation, but I've been like the student in this conversation, right? But is there anything else that you like to speak on before we get out of here?
Yes, I would actually would love the world to know that I am not speaking out of habit. I'm speaking through my own experience and the vast experience I've had through my clientele. And it's so important that the mantra to achieving a good, fun filled life is your self awareness, loving yourself, being confident within yourself, and not living predictions, which are actually opinions and judgment of other people, but learn to create your own prophecies. And life is what you make it.
Wow. For those who are eager to connect with you
Yep.
and learn more about your work, where can they find you or stay updated on your latest endeavors or things that you're working on?
My website, Lee, www.dollymanghat.com. That's my website. And everything is there about me in that website. I teach astrology, I teach it in the contemporary way. In fact, very proud of myself that I have been able to blend the Eastern Vedic astrology with the contemporary astrology and make people understand that how it is your personality, empowering your personality, helps you achieve everything and also overcome obstacles in life. And not to take that life is never easy, but when you start navigating your life, it becomes easier.
Mm. Everyone, I encourage you to go out and get the book Looking Beyond.
Yeah.
You said you made that for the people who are looking to transition. You spoke a lot of things that were kind of related to me. I did do 26 years in the military, so I definitely understand that moving, that transition, and not really being able to connect all the time.
See, it's like I believe that through the planets, we all can create and empower ourselves to create our own legacies. Whichever
Absolutely.
legacies, big or small, doesn't matter. It's a legacy you leave behind.
Absolutely.
And each one of us can do that, Lee.
Oh, I know. And anyone who's listened to this should probably, I think they'll be, what is the word I'm looking for? I think they'll be motivated to start looking at it because you give a very different perspective on just life itself. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like you have more, not in all aspects. Obviously, some things are out of everyone's control, but the things that you are in control of, you have more control than you think you do.
You have control over your thought process. That's why I said life is never easy, but it's
Yeah.
a process, and the process can be handled well if you have a control over your mind. And one thing before I leave is also health, Lee. If you actually
Hmm.
see and go minutely into all uh, you know, the ailments that our body suffers, is stress related. And the stress is created by no one but our own selves. When we
Mm.
don't love ourselves or we try to always please, half the life we spend in pleasing other people and half the life repenting why I couldn't do what I wanted to do.
Mm.
So the earlier we start, the better it is. And it's never too late. Won't you agree with me, Lee?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
But I must thank you also, Lee, for inviting me to give a talk because the more I spread my word, the more fulfilling it is for me.
And Dolly, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on Hindsight the Podcast. And thank you for sharing your journey and your valuable knowledge. I mean, good gracious, with us. I truly appreciate your time and your commitment to making a positive impact. And thanks again for just being a wonderful guest
God
on the
bless
show.
you and everyone, Lee.
Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in to Hindsight the Podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know I did. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated on future episodes packed with inspiring stories. Before you go, leave me a message with your thoughts, feedback, or suggestions for future topics. And if you're loving what you hear, please take a moment to rate this episode. Your feedback helps me to grow and reach more listeners just like you. So remember, life's a journey. Stay tuned, stay curious, and keep gaining wisdom through the power of hindsight. Until next time. Oh, and don't forget, subscribe, leave a message, and rate this episode.
When you look back in hindsight, everything is 20/20. In hindsight.